ourselves to tap into the AFCON 2027 economy. It is a big economy, and we believe that what we are seeing with the preparation, even starting with CHAN 2024, was just the tip of an iceberg of this economy. So the cabinet in 2024 approved an allocation of 1.35 trillion shillings for infrastructure, logistical, and operational costs for preparation of hosting CHAN and AFCON. This figure included $13 million and $40 million that we paid to CAF as an obligation for the hosting rights of CHAN and AFCON 2027. This one we paid long ago, and we are glad to hear that our sister countries have also fulfilled their obligation for the 30 million commitment for AFCON 2027. We appreciate His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for championing the approval of an additional 905 billion shillings towards meeting critical intersectoral funding and administrative requirements for AFCON 2027 for hosting. And I'm summarizing these requirements as follows. There's a lot of detail on it, but let me just summarize them as follows. Number one, because of the level of priority, the Minister of Finance will be communicating to the various agencies that have commitments to implement for AFCON. Minister of Finance will ring-fence these funds to ensure that they go to AFCON 2027. So any sector, any ministry, department, or agency, or private sector that receives money for AFCON, they are going to be ring-fenced funds. You've already heard, number two, that we are setting aside 101 billion for upgrading and construction of hotels in Hoima cluster mainly. And we are looking at a minimum 4 to 5 star hotels, 6 of them, 5 in Hoima, 1 in Masindi, plus additional hotels in the same cluster, and for the reason of accommodating the other persons like you and I when we visit to watch the matches. Why is this important? These 4 to 5 star hotels we are talking about are mainly designated for the CAF officials, the teams that are going to be staying in that place. At a minimum, there will be one group match hosted in Hoima City Stadium, and another group, not one group, but one group of AFCON hosted in Hoima City Stadium and one in Nambole. So if each of the 4 teams is to have their own hotel, those are 4 hotels. Then you need a hotel for the CAF officials, the CAF guests, and CAF media. So then you need about 10 or so other hotels to host the other fans that visit. At a minimum, we are looking at about room of 600 rooms in Hoima Masindi cluster for AFCON 2027. So this 101 billion shillings that I've talked about is really going towards that. Then we also made a commitment to CAF that when we have Hoima City Stadium in that region, it will be served by national airport. The government is also allocating 213.76 billion for upgrade 47.5 kilometers of select roads, not all roads, select roads around Hoima City Stadium, which is around 29.5 kilometers. Nambole Stadium, we have earmarked about 14.83 kilometers, when we talk of Nambole, we are also talking of Chira municipality. And we shall also be working on Chinawataka Road, a stretch of 3.2 kilometers. And we shall also be improving street lighting for 8.8 kilometers of roads and pedestrian walkways to ensure safety. And one of the key roads is really this Chireka, the eyongedde flyover up to Ginger Road, Nakawa. That is a critical area that we live. We are also setting aside 184.9 billion to establish a passenger terminal at Kabalega Airport and also operationalize it. The terminal alone, I think it's estimated to cost about 141 billion. Now that facility, the airport at Kabalega was constructed initially for cargo, but now for it to qualify as an international airport for passenger services, they need a passenger terminal. So that is also going to be handled. And we have also set aside 17.7 billion for the Federation of Uganda Football Associations, that is FUPA. We shall be spending that money, 5.2 billion, on upgrading of FUPA Kadiba Stadium and 12.55 billion for FUPA to implement several interventions to do specifically with preparing the senior national team to participate in AFCON 2027. So that 17.7 billion is towards FUPA. Then, however, the development of this stadium will be done by the UPDF Engineering Brigade, just keeping in principle with the directive of His Excellency the President that all the training facilities for AFCON should be handled by the UPDF Engineering Brigade, and they are doing a great job. 109.9 billion will be allocated to the local organizing committee to handle several other activities to do with preparations for the tournament. Now there is a lot in there. We have to have all components of communications and public relations, branding of the country, hosting of these football teams that are coming, spectator services, medical and anti-doping services, security services, workforce and volunteers. A lot is within the 100.9 billion that is being allocated specifically to the local organizing committee. So within this, and as we go ahead, you'll hear us every now and then coming here weekly, monthly, working together with other partners in communication, enhancing the message and connection with not just the indigenous persons living in Uganda, but also people living out of the country whom we want to attract to visit us during AFCON. We also have 56.2 billion for the completion of Nambole Phase 2. We have been upgrading Nambole, but now for it to suit the AFCON 2027 requirements of CAF, it needs a further boost. The total works for Nambole $2.4 billion allocated for deployment and improvement of ICT infrastructure to support AFCON 2027 facilities, namely the airports, hotels, the stadia, training facilities, and the hospitals. 91.05 billion has been committed to upgrading of Hoima Regional Referral Hospital, Masindi General Hospital, and Buseruka Health Center 3. For these facilities to have the capacity at a minimum of intensive care unit services accident and emergency care services, among others. Buseruka Health Center 3 is on the road connecting from Kabalega International Airport to Hoima City. So that distance of around 60 kilometers, it is important for us to have a health facility with high quality medical services. There is 13.7 billion allocated to Hoima City, Masindi Municipality, and Chira Municipality for sanitation and environmental hygiene service improvement. So in particular, Hoima City will be allocated 6.55 billion, Masindi Municipality 5.1 billion, Chira Municipality 2.1 billion. 3.39 billion has also been set aside for upgrade of aeronautic meteorological services to support Kabalega and Entebbe International Airports. So some of those are requirements for those airports, especially Kabalega, to get international accreditation. 6.25 billion will be allocated for upgrade of the water bridge, especially in Hoima City, to serve the AFCON 2027 facilities. You'll hear me refer a lot, or hear us refer a lot to Hoima, because the Kampala cluster or the Nambole cluster of facilities is already well sufficiently developed. 23.3 billion is being allocated for upgrade and maintenance of the railway, the central terminal, Kampala Mukono line, Namande station, and Nambole Halt. When the train stops around Jokers behind Nambole Stadium, that is not qualified as a station, it's qualified as a railway halt. So when you hear us talk of Nambole Halt, it means that stopping point. 4.69 billion will be allocated for establishment of dedicated electricity lines to facilities that support AFCON 2027. Again, that is in Hoima cluster. That is Kabalega International Airport, the stadium, Hoima Bomber Training Facility, Masindi Municipality Training Facility, and Santito Winnie Senior Secondary School Training Facility. The other area is promotion of Destination Uganda. We believe, as you've heard, we have a huge opportunity to promote this country, but also to bring us together around this football tournament. Sports is a strong unifying factor, but it's also a very powerful instrument and tool platform to promote any geographical location. So 37.85 billion is being committed to marketing and promoting Destination Uganda in order for us to leverage AFCON 2027. It is important that we promote our brand Uganda along AFCON. The reach is immense. AFCON 2025 alone had over 6.1 billion views on various digital and TV platforms. So for us to be able to reach such an audience, we need to invest in it. And the returning from investment is sure on that. The government has also committed to waive the requirement for visa fees for all and any Uganda for a period of 3 months, starting with 1 month before AFCON, the month of AFCON, and 1 month after the final match. So that 3-month window, all and any visitors coming to Uganda will be exempted from visa fees. And as Pamoja, we are also working on having a special purpose joint Pamoja visa. So we are in negotiation with our sister countries and our sister local organizing committees to engage their respective executives and authorities in their countries for us to see that we have a joint Pamoja visa. We are glad to report that for us as Uganda, the cabinet has already endorsed this position and they are supportive of the joint Pamoja visa. In a nutshell, From the information we have just shared in this briefing, it is obvious that government has overwhelming commitment to the realization of a ready environment in Uganda for the successful co-hosting of Total Energies CAF AFCON Pamoja 2027 tournament. And we would like to assure our people, listeners and viewers, that CAF right now is not assessing us on readiness. They are assessing us on preparedness towards readiness. How much progress are we making? So the key milestone now will be August 2026. They'll come, give us feedback, see how far we've gone from February when they last visited and inspected us, and they will turn again. So we are in continuous engagement with CAF. The nature of our business is that we cannot conduct all our business in the media. There's a lot happening in the kitchen. But we only want to come out to the media when we have concrete positions to communicate to you. It is not good to communicate on speculation. So as much as possible as the local organizing committee, speculation. Speculation is very risky when you're playing at a continental stage. Even as we work with you, the media, if you have any questions, please reach out to the local organizing committee. You know us, we've been here. You know Mr. Martin Amanya is our key focal person for media engagement. Please reach out, have all your questions answered before you involve yourself in anything that is speculative, either from government or CAF. And we are very happy that CAF is committed to ensuring that AFCON 2027 takes place in Pamoja. So in the coming weeks, as I said, the LOC will be bringing you regular updates on how we are going to roll out various activations of building engagement with our fans and potential fans, both within and outside Uganda. Remember, our focus is not just us Ugandans who are in this geographical location. It is a continental event which has global viewership. Therefore, our appeal has to be at a continental and global stage. So we shall be engaging with the various media strategies to ensure that we engage you and you give us the best that you can in promoting our but for everyone who comes to have a great experience. So I thank you, and David, how do you progress from here? We first get questions. Okay. All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Mr.
Yes, good morning, Doctor. I'm Ashraf Kazibe from FOFA Media Services.
Yes, Ashraf.
Yeah, my first question, Doctor, that I think you've not, I don't know whether I've not heard properly, but you've not talked about, according to the recent CAF report, there were some improvements cited out on Hoima City Stadium. Give us an update. Are there more finance? Are there more extra finances are needed or required in these improvements that government is supposed to allocate to SUMA, or SUMA is dedicated to do these improvements in the gazetted finances that were given to them? You can give us an update on that. Then another question is, we see more progress going on at Akibwa, as Akibwa Stadium, but Akibwa has not been listed among those stadiums that will be used in this project. Could that enforcement be diverted to the training facilities, because training facilities were already handed over to UPDF, but UPDF we think has a lot of work to do as of now, because we are chasing a deadline. Should that workforce be dedicated to these other facilities? Then another question is about we've had you talking about a couple of things, but we had a challenge in terms of marketing the CHAN 2024. What strategy as the marketing team and the local organizing committee, what strategy are you going to be using this time around to see that AFCON is all over the country, and someone even in Bundibujo can actually explain about AFCON this time around? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ashra.
Good morning.
Morning, who is speaking?
David Isayil is my name.
Dawood.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for the presentation. My question is one, is there any worry that you could be behind schedule? You've spoken about many things, roads, hospital, electricity, special lines, radar line. When are those things going to be started? And when is the deadline?
Okay. Yes.
Morning. I'm Setu Wamanchu from Cruise Media.
Come again?
I'm Setu Wamanchu
Okay.
from Cruise Media. My question is, CAF said it's coming back in August to confirm what it has indicated that you should complete. For example, the Hoima Stadium and the Nambole. We know your contractors are always slow. Will this
That's an
facility? It is not an assumption, it is correct. For example, the time UPDF was spent on Nambole, and now CAF is saying by August it should be complete. Are we sure that it will be complete? Can you assure the nation that by August everything will be ready?
My name is Regina. I'd like to know those particular things that are lacking on the Hoima Stadium that you're going to be working on, which are required by CAF. Then I also want to know what's the relationship between FA, the governing body, and the local organizing committee and the government. What is FA supposed to be doing, and the rest of other stakeholders? Thank you.
Doctor, I think we should have a question from one name Peter. And after him, we close the questions.
Okay.
Doctor, thank you very much. My name is Peter Wandema. I work with Delta TV. Doctor, you said you want to get 6 hotels with 5-star hotels in Hoima region, in Bunyoro region. Have you already identified the contractors to do that? And will that be possible in the 9 months, as you say, is the period remaining? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me begin with the easiest of the questions. Peter Wandela, the issue of the hotels. Yes, remember when we met with the Bunyoro Hotel Owners Association, they helped us identify potential hotels that are upgradable to the level that will satisfy CAF standards. So we are not talking of construction of new hotels. Those 6 are not brand new construction. So what they need to add on, they are confident that by the time we have kickoff, let's even say March, as long as it's available, they will be ready. That assessment completed. Remember, it is the facility. In mentioning people's contract. But once it is done, you'll get to know those hotels. They are not a secret. Let's go to Ashraf. Improvements at Hoima City Stadium. When you look at what CAF identified for the improvements, one is widening of the media tribune to be able to accommodate 150 media personalities. That one is going to be done. You don't need to break anything. You simply need to regazette some spectator seats that are close to the media tribune that has been built. There is creating more space for the press conference room. Now, the way the conference room that is there is the standard conference press room as per CAF Stadium regulations of 2022. It meets all the standards. However, we saw from Chan that that conference room can take up to 150 to 200 people. So it is a standard practice, even in other countries that have hosted AFCONs and Chans. You already find that sometimes the room you have set up, the physical room that is built out of concrete and mortar, is not sufficient. So you hire what are called VIP tents. Like we had the media center at Nambole, those of you who came, that media center was for 500 people. Those of you who went to AFCON 2025 in Morocco, their main media center was actually an indoor arena. So you cannot construct a media center or press room of 1,000 people in a stadium facility. You can't. But you have to ensure that your stadium has the minimum capacity press conference. So Hoima City Stadium met that minimum capacity of 50 as per the CAF regulations of 2022. However, because of the numbers we anticipate for AFCON 2027, we shall have to create additional space. Now, the contractor will tell us whether that space can be gained within the existing facility, but if not, we already have a good plan B, which we have budgeted for, and it works. It has worked in all other tournaments. So there is no need for worry about that. For example, the area that we have earmarked for the media center at Hoima City Stadium is the indoor arena. That indoor arena is around 2,000 to 2,500 feet. So we are going to gazette it as a media center for Hoima City Stadium. The other things that CAF identified in its inspection report had to do with separation of flow of VIP media, etc. Those are very, very simple things to be done. So I, for one, I would encourage you, kindly don't really feel uncomfortable with the correction of that. All will be done. Good enough in the way we structured the contract we signed with KUFA, with rather construction company. There is a window within the funds that are yet to be paid them, that they can make all those corrections without an extra cost on the government. So, however, should SUMA deem that this is out of scope, they'll let us know. And they'll let us know. But really, if you look at all the things that CAF identified, there was nothing so major that should make anyone lose their sleep. The Akibua Stadium Readiness. The Akibua Stadium Readiness, we are on schedule to ensure that Akibua State Olympic Stadium is complete together with its training facilities. The training facilities are Peche Stadium, Gulu University Stadium, and Lira University Stadium. Akibua Olympic Stadium has an annex of the training facility with it. So all the facilities required for matches and training for Akibua cluster will be ready by, and good is there. We are also committed, and we got that commitment from the government, that Gulu International and provided, because that stadium also needs an all our energies, especially on the collateral support facilities, to focus on Hoima and Nambole clusters, is that the cost of complete Olympic Stadium cluster is 724.5 billion. So if you add on the 724.5 billion, 900, you're looking well over 1.6 trillion. So the issue was, which one is the priority of priority? You need Akigowa will be ready as a standby facility, meeting all the CAP standards, and we are not compromising on the timeline at all. Ashraf, you're talking about the capacity of the engineering brigade. They have a lot of work. The reason why the engineering brigade of UPDF has a lot of work is because they have the capacity to do that work. And they proved it over and over. They've constructed schools, they've constructed hospitals. We've seen the work they do. We saw what they did for Chambogo University Training Facility. We saw what they did for Nambole. That pitch was the best pitch in China. That Nambole Stadium pitch. The training facility is world class. You know, so the UPDF Engineering Brigade has the capacity. And the government is committed and ensuring that all the monies the brigade needs to all of this work are available. You can see those of you have been able to visit Chambogo. Progress is already going on well for phase 2 and Makerere University. So, and very soon this month, they should also be starting on the Hoima City Stadium class of training facility. Satito Winyi, Hoima City and Masindi Boma Ground. Masindi Municipal Grounds and Hoima Boma Grounds. Then how do we market? As I was saying in my remarks, we have a comprehensive plan of marketing and promoting AFCON within the resources I've already talked about, the 109 billion. We have a communication strategy in place that will see us work with over 70 radio stations. They are not yet identified, so don't ask me which ones are they. We have standards for branding. The 109 billion you heard about, on schedule. We are not the ones who are going remember money to upgrade their hotels. So all the other marking us please don't carried away by what sometimes I call to do with our relationship with the number 2 in the formation communities has an average of person. Government of Uganda that by Cooper, 4 are from Cooper, the good working relationship. So what support okay. Even when you hear all this speculation, just reach out to the media.